All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. And welcome to the session on United in Action, Prime as a catalyst for the SDG partnerships. And today I'm your host, or let's say moderator of the session. I'm Marina. I'm from IDC Bled School of Management in beautiful Slovenia. So currently not there yet, but on Wednesday. But my background will hopefully do for the scenery that is usually something that you would find in Slovenia. And today we will be talking about fostering partnerships that are aimed at achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. And we will try to explore together with our fantastic panelists in which ways that can be done and how Prime can actually facilitate collaboration between academic institutions, businesses, non-governmental organizations to also integrate sustainability in the core of business education and practice. You will not hear so much from me because that is not my role, but that is why I brought some fantastic panelists along with me. And I will just briefly mention their names and affiliations, and then I will give the floor to them because we have a short but sweet session of 45 minutes altogether. So I hope that you will enjoy the input from our panelists. So we do have in our session today Jalia from Coventry University in the UK, Saloni also from BIMTech in India. We do have Paula from Aalto University in Finland. And we do also have, and I'm especially delighted to introduce Sophia and also Lazar from the Prime Global Student Initiatives. They're representing the European region and also MENA region. And yeah, I would love to see more of that engagement also that we do have with students, because I think it's a very, very valuable asset. I'm especially excited to also hear their perspectives. But without further wasting more minutes that we don't have, I would like to give the floor to our first panelist. So maybe, Jalia, you will want to take it away. So we promised our audience like a very short and sweet 5 minutes from each of you. And we do have, of course, opportunities to reach out to the audience. So if you are among the audience, have some questions also for our panelists, please don't feel shy, don't feel afraid to pop them into the Q&A box. And Jalia, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Marina. You can hear me well?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Jalia from Coventry University College of Business and Law, and I will be talking to us all today on COIL for the SDGs. COIL, Collaborative Online International Learning, is a pedagogical approach using digital technology to internationalize the curriculum. So it involves institutions, 2 or more institutions from different countries, engaged in collaborative learning and participatory problem solving. COIL, it's quite innovative and there's a lot you can do with it, but there's some components, some things that you need to have in mind to make up a COIL. First is that international engagement, and then also it should be active, collaborative learning and participatory problem solving. It can be built into curriculum where students can get credit for it, or it can be designed as a co-curricular activity, which works well with the main curriculum. And we have examples of that from Coventry University. It can be both synchronous, live sessions, for instance, and asynchronous, where you have videos, pre-reading, online forum discussions on VLE web, where participants can reply later, especially with time zone differences. And the last thing for you to know when you're designing a COIL is that it should involve some sort of feedback or reflection or other means of evaluation. As a pedagogy itself, it comes with many advantages, supports institutional internationalization strategy. It can help in building new relationships, new partnerships, or strengthening existing partnerships. The staff development, because when designing COIL, it scaffolds, when designing COILs, it scaffolds discussion among academics and when you're co-creating with students, public sector, third sector. So it's really that inclusive. And also, the inclusivity part of it might have to do with people that are place-bound for several reasons, financial limitations, family obligations, educational constraints, or even health issues that might be physical or not physical. And let's not forget about climate sustainability due to reduced low emission or due to low emissions. And emphasis on low emissions here because everything has emission. So, but you know that flying in particular, flying is carbon intensive. So coil is really good because of climate sustainability. That's the advantage, just few of the advantages of coil as a pedagogy. But the benefits to participants is enormous. It includes developing skills, knowledge, values, attributes that are needed for the global world of work, intercultural competencies, collaboration competencies, digital skills, global perspective, and even personal and professional development. So by its nature, COIL aligns with many of the SDGs, 4, 8, 9, 13, 16, 17, and some even argue 10 because of reduced inequality. So imagine if you're designing the COIL itself for the SDGs. This is something that is already aligned with the SDGs. And now you're designing it for the SDGs, which we know are 17 in number, supported by 169 targets and over 230 indicators, giving us a framework of addressing global challenges. So if you're designing a COIL for the SDGs, one thing you should know and tell your students is that these 17 SDGs are interlinked, indivisible, and they are integrated. So you need collaborative effort in order to achieve the SDGs. With that in mind, their interdisciplinary nature and interconnectedness will also help you in designing your COIL and also forming your educational aims. So the key educational aims of that COIL could include, and let me read my notes, to introduce students to real-life challenges and how they might be mitigated, to demonstrate the value of interdisciplinary and intercultural approaches to global challenges by bringing together participants from across the globe. Or for you as an academic, it can be a means of introducing education for sustainable development into curriculum. So with these educational aims just around designing a COIL for the SDGs, now you can add more from the specific SDGs that your COIL is going to address. Now, all of these educational aims align with target 4.7 of the SDGs. And I don't know if you have access to that now, or maybe I can briefly read that, Marina. Okay, so target 4.7 of the SDGs says that by 2030, ensure that all learners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including amongst others through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of culture of peace and nonviolence, global citizenship, and appreciation for cultural diversity, and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. So you can see how it aligns with already the nature of COIL, and then your educational aims, and also any specific SDGs that you wish to design the COILs for. And doing that then support the development of competencies in alignment with the UNESCO sustainability competencies, which is further highlighted by Advanced HE and QAA UK, including systems thinking competency, critical thinking competency, all of them, about 8 of them, all aligns with the COIL. In Coventry University, we've done a number of COILs for the SDGs. I don't know how I'm doing on time, but maybe I can give you some examples. Is that okay? So we have the 24-hour SDGs Hackathon COIL project involving our students from Coventry University, Ghana Communication Technology University, and Western Panara State University of Brazil. Participants were put in teams. Each team was multidisciplinary and cross-cultural. And there were a lot of activities designed to support these particular COIL, including live sessions, check-in times, mentorship session, social enterprise session, video production session. Our students were hosted for 24 hours in our disruptive media learning lab. Green Finance and Accountability was a virtual field trip to New York, and it involved, again, Coventry University, State University of New York at Albany SUNY, and an investment management firm. I have to give credit to our Coventry University COIL team here because they developed self-paced activities that were really interesting, including building intercultural competencies where students go and engage on the VLE. The second day was a live session, and we had participation from SUNY and an investment firm. During that live session, we learned about sustainability at SUNY, sustainability at Coventry University, and ESG. The session also involved quizzes and interactive sessions on climate change. Our students were required to submit a reflection in order to get a certificate. SDGs Challenge 2021, that was really interesting, themed sustainable cities. And we engaged with the public sector here in Coventry, and that will be our Coventry City Council. And we have a COIL that is currently running now for the third year, Sustainability Virtual Field Trip. And it involves institutions in India, Canada, South Africa, and Egypt. This is a really good example of a co-curricular COIL. So it's not, students don't get credit for it, but the COIL team work with module leaders and they incorporate COIL sessions into already timetable sessions. So they have to work with these COIL leaders, with module leaders, and make sure that the sessions are relevant to the module, to the students, and the students can see a connection of that COIL with their modules and also their future career aspirations. So tips for starting a COIL: talk to other people, co-create, start small, because COIL can be a few hours, to a few days, to a week, to a few weeks, to a whole semester. And in the working group for climate change and environment, we're just about to embark on a whole year tour, which will have series of COILs. I'll stop there, Marina. Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shalia. Very nice advertisement for going for COIL. I'm already excited. I don't know how about our audience, but thank you so much, Shalia, also for the best practice advice, showcasing what you are doing. And I think you're doing a wonderful job. And I'm sure that we will have some Q&A also later on. But I would like to give the floor next to Saloni to share some of your inspiring examples, and then we will take the Q&As after everyone has finished. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Marina. Thank you for having me in this panel. And namaste, everyone from India. I must tell you that my institute has benefited with COIL, a project. So yes, we've seen the capabilities building high. So most of the time, my, courses are such, because we are a business school, most of the time, all the students are talking, learning, understanding business, and they're moving more into technology. They're engaging more through technology platforms. So I took this up that, I need to ensure human connectedness. Yeah. So they are on technology, they are connections. However, between the team sitting together in front of each other, working together, that actually brings a different impact. And I totally endorse theater and art-based teaching, even in my business subjects. So I just wanted to share about one teaching innovation that I have. I think my internet has gone a little weak. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can still hear you, Saloni.
Yeah, okay. So I felt that between each other, the sensibilities, we really need to make sure that our students understand different mindsets, emotions, and their interpersonal skills get enhanced. I introduce them, into literature, drama, and they perform not just role plays, but adaptation of even research papers. So introduce the theater elective as a separate bouquet course. It happened because there is a theater and debating society, which is student-led, and all my students who are a part of this club, they were the reason why each and every individual in my institute has experienced theater. It includes the staff, the faculty, the director, and even some of the guests. So theater is so much in our DNA, culture is so much in our DNA, that teaching subjects through art and theater became really a very powerful tool. And when we address issues like reduced inequalities, social change through curriculum, social change through such interventions, it started giving us, inroad into the real issues in the communities. And my students became more conscious of their roles. So if that is one thing that I can achieve through my activities, it would be mindset change. It would be bringing commitment in their minds, becoming responsible citizens, responsible managers, ethical people, and above all, authentic, very authentic as well. So I'm very proud to share that the activities, by the club, it's completely student-led, enforced the adoption of a new curriculum which was on theater, ran very successfully, addressed issues like SDG 3, SDGs, which are around reduced inequalities, gender-related issues. And of course, it gives this opportunity to address all other SDGs like climate crisis, like, intergenerational equity, n number of such things. So we partnered with United Nations Global Compact, and then we actually went out in the communities, performed street plays. So I found my students becoming much more sensitive. And when we talk about future skills, various reports have highlighted creativity and curiosity, and of course, agility, which I found in all these students. And I'm really proud to share that the outcome of the course was such that in future, some of the students who had taken up theater were doing it for the first time. And they went ahead, joined the corporate, and today they have started their theater clubs there. And a couple of them have won awards for agility. So, well, and then they have these DEI mandates now in our corporates. So they are facilitating that. So with PRME coming into the picture, Institute became more conscious of introducing interventions by coming in, collaborating with corporate and introducing new courses, whether it was Access Bank and climate, or whether it was Access Bank and gender. So, there were the DI courses. We have really become more conscious and more committed. And I'm very proud to share that we have recently published a book chapter on this intervention. And if anybody is interested to know more how we executed it and what was the impact and how theater can become a pedagogy, and it is not just for social sciences, even technical subjects. We have used theater even in, technical subjects. So I will be very happy to discuss this in detail with the participants. And I'm going to put the details in the chat also, where you can access the book. The book was presented in United Nations. So thank you, Marina, for that opportunity. And I wish that in the future, we move more towards human connectedness and become more emotionally connected in the institution. So thank you so much, Marina. I hope I've been able to introduce the idea of innovation in your teaching. So I conclude with just, using 4 C's approach for, impactful curriculum interventions: creativity, curiosity, courage, and of course, collaboration. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Saloni. Yeah, I'm a big fan of not only COIL, but also of theater-based pedagogy. So I think it was kind of a self-selection bias that we picked also this very nice cohort here of panelists. So thank you so much, Saloni. And don't forget to pop in these resources. I think that will be very exciting for people to read. Yeah, giving it away to Paula. I know you have also some interesting stuff to share. So excited what you bring us from Finland.
Okay, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Paula Schöner and I'm from the Aalto University School of Business here in Espoo, close to Helsinki, southern Finland. And yeah, I will actually maybe share my thoughts on a bit broader level, so to say, but I feel that this echoes so well with what Saloni just presented as this example. So I was my intention is to share some thoughts about the future competencies for SDGs, or for sustainable future, maybe more in general. And I had as a kind of starting point the fact that our students that graduate today, they will be likely working until roughly 2070. So that's 40 years from now. And how can we prepare them for a working life in 2070? And what will they need in 2070? What kind of knowledge, what skills, what competencies? And if we look back 40 years, we definitely can see that the world has changed immensely. And I think it's somehow safe to say that change and the pace of change is likely the only thing that is not going to change in the next 40 years. So we know the world is changing now, and it will change in the future, and we will need to equip our students, our present-day students, to that change. And when I was thinking of this, I fashionably, of course, asked AI what are the most important professions for a business student in 40 years. And the language model gave me, raised as the #1 profession, that in 40 years, sustainability consultant would be the #1 profession. And now I quote the large language model: with an increasing focus on environmental and social responsibility, businesses will need professionals who can help them integrate sustainable practices into their operations. The other 4 important ones being data analyst, digital marketing specialist, global business manager, and artificial intelligence developer. And I was somehow very stunned by this answer of AI to my questions, since I'm rather convinced that actually AI was very wrong here. And we do have data and very hard evidence on the fact that we need to change faster than that, and we need to change how we operate this planet. And the change we need is not like tweaking existing ways of doing things into something slightly less harmful, or optimize those ways we are doing now, so that which in the core are very much unsustainable. So actually we need to change in the very core of what we are doing, and also not only doing less harm, but actually repairing that harm that has already been done, and regenerating our planet and its functions. And in that AI answer, it struck me somehow that it somehow indicated that sustainability is something to be consulted on. Businesses need help in integrating sustainability, and this in the 40 years time. And I think at that, then business does not need sustainability does not need to be integrated. Business needs to be in its very foundation sustainable. And I think what I read from this AI suggestion, that sustainability is something to be consulted on. It's something separate from the actual business, with special consultants working it. And I think in 40 years we're not in a stage where that's really possible to have sustainability as something external or separate from the core. Business is sustainability, and sustainability is business then. So I think when then thinking how can this change be possible, and I was thinking of lots of different sorts of competencies that we can anticipate to be important now and anytime in the future. I wanted to highlight 2 competencies specifically, and these resonate now very well with the thoughts that were already shared in this panel. So we have done some surveys, and we collect feedback from our students and from our stakeholders, and what that data tells us is that we are pretty excellent in teaching our students topical knowledge on various fields of business, analytical skills, and all possible tools that's like an everyday toolkit of business professionals. On the other hand, our data shows us that where we need to improve more is in the ways we work together and create new ways solving our sustainability challenges together, create these new sorts of businesses that do not have sustainability kind of add on, but which are in the core of sustainability. So that means the interpersonal competencies, the collaboration, the interaction, human-human interaction, the different ways of communication, and that within our own business bubble, but with all sorts of professionals from various fields, with individuals with different expertise, with different backgrounds, and really like beyond our kind of conventional circles. And we know that the modes and techniques and ways of interacting have changed rapidly by the pandemic. We have new technologies, and it somehow seems that maybe our teaching has not really kept pace with that change, and that is something that we need to pay even more attention to, because we need to do it together. There's no way around it, and that will require again and again new ways of collaborating with people. And I think we also need to convey this message more clearly to our students, that these are competencies, the interpersonal competencies, the soft competencies, they are really badly needed, and there's no way around it. And also maybe to convey the message that these are skills that can be trained, exercised, learned, and improved. And so it's a lifelong learning journey with the interpersonal competence, which is the other one I would like to highlight, maybe surprisingly taking my topic, and maybe the topic of this whole session would be then anticipatory competence or futures thinking competence. And again, I would say this resonates very well with the 4 C's approach that Saloni was presenting. So really the ability to learn, because we don't know that well what needs to be there by 2070, but we need to be able to learn it. We need to be able to adapt and to be courageous to drive that change. So that curiosity for the future and the imagination for the future, the ability to think of the unthinkable, and at the same time also not to get anxious about that. I would like to share an example that just a colleague a few days earlier shared with me. They, in 2010, so that's 14 years ago, they had they made a kind of exercise of futures thinking, and they were assigned to make an advertisement in a future context. And their team made an advertisement for a vegan burger, something that in 2010 was in the category of the unthinkable. And today we know that the vegan burger is everywhere. It's the default option, and it's a desirable future, but at that time it was also an unlikely future. And now it has become a completely possible, plausible, viable future. So they had 14 years ago the imagination of something, and they were able to sketch those alternative futures and really see that change happen also, and how to encourage our students to be part of making that change. So really to work and imagine all those alternative futures, what is possible, desirable, plausible, even preposterous futures. Then the question about how to deal with uncertainty, which is the big question of the future. And there maybe the key would be to see uncertainty as an opportunity, not a threat. Uncertainty enables many different futures, and that is really essential for a sustainable future. And then another key issue would be have the readiness to analyze and question and also rethink the underlying assumptions. That is what influences our thinking of the future so much. So we really need to be aware of those assumptions and experimenting and exploring different assumptions and how that can play out for the future. And I think what also is very, very critical is to understand the consequences of non-intervention futures. So what will that mean? So maybe to sum up my kind of hot take for the competences for a sustainable future would be the competencies to work and imagine collaboratively for alternative futures the possible, the desirable, the unthinkable futures. And we think of what should we teach our students, but in terms of this futures thinking, we as educators actually need to be very bold as well, because we need that futures thinking competence, that we are able to think of how to educate our students to be prepared for the unimaginable future in 2070. And how many of us has made this thought experiment of what is the unimaginable education at business schools in the year 2070? What are we teaching then? What can be dropped? So I leave it with these questions, but I think these two previous examples have given also like very concrete ways on which could be very well applicable to this futures thinking as well. I leave it to that, and I will be happy to continue discussions either in the chat or elsewhere. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Paula. And yeah, those of you who are part of the Prime Champions group would probably also know that Paula is also spearheading a project now on exactly these competencies, or anticipatory competence. And yeah, we are all very much eager and looking forward to the results on that. So yeah, I'm cautious of time, and I know that we have two more brilliant inputs from Lazar and also Sophia. So how about the desirable and maybe also not so desirable futures that the students can bring and are challenging, of course, us here as educators? So please, Lazar, the floor is yours first, and then we hear also Sophia.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well? Perfect. Okay, great. So I'm studying the time. So that's my introduction. I'm from Switzerland, because in Switzerland we have good time management. Joking aside, so I'm Lazar. I'm the current PGS regional leader in Europe. I will introduce to you later what PGS stands for. And I'm studying business administration with a specialization in general management at the Zurich University of Applied Science. So thank you for the introductions of what the future could look like and what sustainability is in your view. Maybe compared to that, what we as students think. I will talk a little bit about the Prime Global Students, the PGS, the short abbreviation, the initiative or the organization within Prime. Because the first quote I learned is that the future of responsible management education is today. And the global aim is that PGS should be a network by and for students within Prime, because we want to strengthen a global community of student impact makers, and we are very good at it. And we want, with PGS, to empower student organizations with a focus on sustainable development and responsible management by increasing the local and, of course, the global connection between the different regions, between the different continents, countries, to each other and further players in the university ecosystem, because we are all students. And then we have the academia part, we have the student organizations, we have of course, the sustainability-oriented student organizations, and we have the students as students itself. And we would like to accelerate their and Prime's collective impact. So how we do that concretely? We have three pillars at PGS. We have the first pillar is awareness. Awareness stands for, we would like to generate awareness of responsible management and sustainable development among the different students and promote the work done by student-led organizations to further players. That means when we have a student organization with this sustainability orientated or which has SDGs in their projects or different projects related to the SDGs, we would like to show awareness and talk about that. Then we have the second pillar, it is advocacy. So following the current trend of youth protagonism in various global issues, amplified at the student voice in the realm of evidence-based advocacy for responsible management and sustainable development is here. So we will stand for students and talk on behalf of different students and give them a platform, a voice to be here. Then the third and last pillar is collective action. We would like to leverage the collective action between business and academia, as I already said, by exploring the driving force of students and connecting them to business leaders and scholars while pursuing green jobs and solving real-life problems. We do this within PGS with our regional leaders, as I am one of them, and we have also the PGS portfolio with the task force organizations. We have the PGS social media team, we have the PGS talks team, we have the PGS careers team, we have the PGS newsletters team, and we have a special PGS ambassador program. Now, to come to an end, as the time is running, I would like to summarize again what this concretely means to us as students. So that means that we are very engaged, and when we are engaged, we would like to talk to people, we would like to share our minds, to share our vision, to share our thoughts we have, not within only our region, also with people from a different continent. So this is part of or this should be a part of the intercultural know-how that we can develop as students, not only sitting in Europe and thinking about a problem we have to solve in Europe, but maybe to connect with people from India or from South America. We can share our views and then learn from each other. And the next thing is that we as students think that, or I personally think that Prime offers us the opportunity to become empowered leaders who are well versed in the principles of sustainability and corporate responsibility. And we think that we can emphasize the research that addresses global challenges and give the students access to knowledge and innovative solutions related to the SDGs, and also to, as I already said, to come together, to grow, to learn the first leadership skills, and to develop everything related to the big field of sustainability, because we are aware of the future. We are sometimes also afraid of what's coming to us. When you read the newspapers, then often there's not good news, and that's why we want to change this world and make it a better place. So I'll pass it back to Marina. And thank you. If you have further questions, do not hesitate to contact.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lazar, for sharing this very, very important perspective of the students, and here speaking for the European region. Sophia, over to you. I know you have something exciting to share also for the MENA region. The virtual floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Marina, and thank you for everyone here. So I want to introduce myself first. My name is Sofia Gattini, and I'm a student at Zayed University and a Prime Global Student Ambassador Program for the Middle East, as Marina said, and I'm based in Dubai. Today, I would like to share two transformative experiences related to the SDGs that I believe should be replicated globally. One of them is that in 2022, having lived in the United Arab Emirates for just over a year, I had the incredible opportunity to represent the UAE as a youth delegate at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. COP27 is the conference of parties in when countries come together to negotiate advancements that or policies to tackle climate change. This opportunity presented itself from a partnership that my university had with the local government. And frankly, this hands-on learning experience was life-changing. It was inspiring to see how the UAE empowered its youth to actively participate in such a significant global event. And for a kid my age to see how the world politics really worked, how they really worked. It was incredible. So during COP27, I also engaged with the delegates from my country, which is Chile. And with them, once I shared my experience and the impact it had on me on this opportunity, I was able to convince them to extend a similar opportunity for the youth in my country. So they ended up bringing up 2 youth delegates to COP28 in UAE last year, and they are committed to bring in at least 2 youth delegates every COP from now on. I think this initiative aligns with SDG 4, which relates to quality education, and with SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions by empowering youth people through education and inclusion in global discussions, which is incredibly important considering that the challenges of today will be mostly suffered by the youth that is meant to hold the future. And additionally, when it comes to the second experience I wanted to share is that at my university, we have a sustainability club in which we have monthly initiatives. We have a monthly initiatives in which we bring companies that are actively working towards one or more SDGs to brief students on their efforts by letting them know what is happening, how it's happening, what are they doing, what's the impact, why is it important, and who's benefiting. This initiative has allowed our club members to witness firsthand how businesses can contribute to sustainable development. For instance, we have seen companies repurposing waste to align with SDG 12, related to responsible consumption and production, and also incubating green businesses supporting SDG 17, related to partnership for the goals. Hence, I believe that this initiative has opened our eyes as students to the possibilities and the urgent need to make the SDGs a reality. And I believe it could be very impactful to replicate it elsewhere. The experiences have shown me the power of education and partnership in achieving the SDGs by involving youth in global events such as COP27 and fostering collaborations between students and businesses. We are inspiring and equipping the next or generation of students that are supposed to take meaningful action in the future. And I think these two instances can, while one on a broader scale and one of a more tangible one, can be quote unquote easily replicated and very impactful if all of our attendees, wherever they are, they motivate their institutions to do something similar. That's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sophia, and also for really sharing these student perspectives. I think they could not be more valuable to us as a whole. I think what I mentioned at the beginning is very much dear to my heart, is having really more students speaking also to us, with us at Prime, because I think it's always nice to hear from fellow educators, but we're doing it also for the students. So the passion we bring is precisely because we have great students such as you, Sophia, you, Lazar, in class that are driving this agenda together with us. So this is really, really exciting, and thanks to especially both of you, but obviously also to Saloni, Jalia, and Paula for being part of this great panel. And I would just like to summarize, because we just have 2-3 more minutes left, what we have heard today, and maybe also reading out some comments from the chat, because I found it quite interesting. We had, of course, first and foremost, the cheerleader, I think Isabel for Jalia, super excited about the COIL course. So maybe you want to reach out, Jalia, to your cheerleaders as well, that were powering you on. And in the chat, we had comments also from Paolo. Amazing to seeing 2 impactful Prime students on the stage. I couldn't agree more to that. So that is something we want to see more of in the future. And one offer from Jonathan. We are forming a new consortium of business schools to bring together students from around the world to consider One Planet leadership, an executive roundtables, and a co-curricular course for full-time students. Let me know if interested in either or both, also offering a facilitator track for faculty. So maybe you can already see there are some offers on the chat. So thank you so much. And I think it's very, very exciting. So reach out to our panelists. I think they're all very, very eager to work with you. I think there will be probably coming a lot of more offers, Jalia, to you to do joint COIL courses. For Paula, probably also on the competencies and what we can do to really rethink the skills of the 21st century, and obviously also to Saloni on theater-based pedagogy. And looking forward to taking this discussion further with all of you. And it was great having you on this panel. So thanks a lot. And please reach out to our panelists if you haven't already. And please take this opportunity to really engage with all of them. They are all amazing. I know that for sure. And thanks a lot for your time and being with us in this wonderful session. Thanks to you all. And thanks obviously once more to the great panelists. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.